Passion project, we converted schools. It was like the unsustainable schools, like unhygienic school, into a net zero schools. So we obtained a funding of $10,000 for that. So one of my friends from Stanford told me that the application process is like it's like Tinder. So if your skill set matches with the university, what university wants, you swipe right. Otherwise, they swipe left. For that is that we are saving around 15,000 liters of water every year, plus 13,000 kilowatt of electricity every year, with 50 tons of carbon every year.
So hello everyone, today it's an honor to be here. यहाँ पे exactly here around 6 years ago, I was interning at Panasonic Automotive right at Georgia Tech. And now today we have a new student here at Georgia Tech who is doing undergrad at Georgia Tech, and he will be sharing his journey and what privileges he had and what background he had, especially with CBSE board, was able to make it here. So hi Aditya, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, hi Anur, I am Aditya Vora. I am an international student from India. I came from CBSE board, and surprisingly I had a very less SAT score of 1410. So if you see on the Google, the SAT score of Georgia Tech is 1500 plus, and getting into a 1410, I think that would be an interesting journey to share about. Apart from that, I did an internship. I had a lot of focus on research in my school period, and now I am at Georgia Tech as a freshman studying environmental engineering, and I might switch to IE along the way, but yeah.
So IE is industrial engineering.
Industrial engineering,
Yeah,
for the context.
Those who don't know, first of all, about his SAT score, 1500 plus is considered must as an international student. And Georgia Tech is a rare school where they had always mandatory to have SAT score for undergraduate students.
Yes, that's correct.
Other schools were like, chalo optional. Even Harvard had it optional. But
right.
Georgia Tech always mandatory.
Yeah, Georgia Tech always had a mandatory SAT policy, so we always had to send a SAT score. So that was the context, right? So I did not expect to get into Georgia Tech as a 1410, but yeah, the admission committee is very holistic, as they say, and it's not all about the numbers.
Awesome. And industrial engineering is a major. Students pursue it. Those who are not sure what they want to do, they can become an engineer. Yeah. They can become architect. It's business. You can do whatever. It's very flexible.
Yes. Correct.
So let's start with your family background. If you can share, like, what privileges you had that helped you in, first of all, to be in a place to study abroad. Did you always want to study abroad? JEE? Can you share all that journey?
Of course, for sure. So hi. So I came from a middle class family. I would not call it lower middle class. I come from an upper middle class family. So I was born and brought up in Gujarat, Baroda, and I grew there. So before 10th, I always wanted to go to IIT. I wanted to JEE because I have a brother who is also who is at IIT Kharagpur. So I always wanted to do JEE. But as we talked before, I wanted to give the privilege of, like, after seeing our videos, I got inspired about the education system here. And then in the 10th grade, I started my education journey of getting into abroad colleges, especially at high-end colleges. So first of all, to acknowledge the privileges, I am for sure very privileged that I'm sitting at a place like here. So I had a counselor. I just wanted to make it clear. I had a counselor who helped me throughout the process. The second privilege which I think I had was I had a very supportive family system. Like, they were very ready. Even after knowing the conditions, it would be difficult for me to come here. They're always ready to support me. And third, I think it's also the privilege of getting the right information at the right time. So getting across your video at the right time, I think that was also a key point, which I think which is I think one of the most important privileges which I have.
And jinko nahi pata, he is pursuing a very unique field which is called environmental engineering actually. So can you share what's the reason you wanted to pursue it? Because this is other, like, majority of the students in Atlanta, majority of the students at Georgia Tech are computer science students.
Absolutely. So yeah, my mom comes from a similar background of green architecture. So from the age of 4, she used to make green buildings, which are sustainable buildings. And along the way, I was very inspired to do something for the environment. So when she made buildings, I was very keenly interested in what is happening, why is it happening, why do we need to save water, why do we need to save electricity. And as I went along, I think the scope of the field is huge. The second point, which I think is very important, is there has to be someone to tackle the environment. Like, as you all know, there is huge climate change crisis happening right now. And I felt that it has to be me who has to take the change, because otherwise no one would take the accountability of doing something for the environment. I think it's a field in which you can make real impact as well as a growing field. So that's why I selected that.
Very nice. And other most important question will be, with an SAT score this low, and can you also share about your academics? How were your academics?
Sure.
How were you able to get in? So start karte aapke academics se.
Surely, हम academics से start करते हैं. So my SAT score was 1410, which was in the lower quartile. It is the 98th quartile. My APs were, I gave AP Calculus BC, which is like the most tough maths class for APs. I got a 5 on that, and I also gave AP Environmental Sciences, which I got a 4 in that.
Okay, nice.
Apart from that, in the terms of studies, I was at a CBSE school, so I scored pretty well. In my boards, in my 10th board, I had a percentage of 96.6 percentage, and I was in the top 3 of the school. Like I come from a school named as Delhi Public School, Vadodara, which wherein a lot of people do not go to international schools. So I had a decent score. Apart from that, in 12th board, which just ended like 6 months ago, I got a 95 percentage segregated. So yeah, that was my percentage. I was overall a good academic student, but yeah, that's my academic portion.
Wow. But so do you think your academic portion helped you in cover up your low SAT score, or what was the unique point in your profile that helped you be a good academically proven student to be at Georgia Tech? क्योंकि काफी students पूछते हैं कि यार my scores were not good in like 9th 10th. आपने 9th 10th के भी grade बता सकते हो, because at the end of the day for CBSE board students it's the average of 9th to 12th. So can you please share?
Of course, 9th में मैं बहुत honest होना चाहूँगा. 9th में मेरे scores बहुत खराब थे. I was like 88 percentage. It was very low because I was going through a lot at that time, so my scores went down a bit. In 10th, I got a 96. In 11th, I got, as we all know, 11th is much tougher. I got a 91, which is
Same. Wow. I got, so 91 I got in 11th and 12th.
12th, I got 94.6. So
Very nice. But do you think schools actually help you in changing it for?
I don't think so. मतलब of course हाँ predicted score submit करता हूँ, कभी भी actually नहीं कर सकता. Predicted में तो मेरा 95 था, पर मुझे actually में भी 95 है. That was a correlation.
Yeah.
Now coming to the second point, आपने जो बोला कि scores को मैंने कैसे, क्योंकि अगर सबको पता है Georgia Tech is a very academic rigorous school, so they want to ensure that आप पढ़ाई में top हो, आप in the 1% हो हमेशा world में जो आप Georgia Tech में select हो गए as in the terms of academics. So first of all, I think कि मेरे scores जो 10th, 11th, 12th, जो 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th was decent. Like it was good. I would not say that it was bad. It was decent. I think when I gave APs and I self-tutored for that, मैंने AP कहीं से help नहीं ली थी, खुद AP दिया था पूरा. So I think that AP score helped me, that जो मेरा 9th का low था उसको cover up करने में help किया क्योंकि मैंने APs दिया. I think SAT did not help. I think SAT was my lower point, जिसमें application को नीचे डाला होगा. अब मैं ये discuss करना चाहूँगा कि जैसे आपने बोला कि scores तो अच्छे इतने नहीं, तो कैसे select हो गया?
But I'll be very honest, scores are still not the worst.
Yeah,
People with worse score than 85% are able to make it. Academic is not just the only part that is important. People with below 85% are always able to make it. But what's most important is steady growth. अगर आपके 9th में 85% आते हैं, 80, 82 आते हैं, it's okay. But 10th में try to make it better. 11th better. 12th better. This consistent growth covered up with AP scores he had
AP score
balances the academic profile.
And I also want to say कि बहुत लोग, मैं जब मैं 10th में था मुझे फिर 11th में मेरे मार्क्स गिर गए, तो कॉलेजेस को हम कभी बोलते हैं हमें अपवर्ड्स कर्व चाहिए, तो कभी कभी कॉलेजेस को भी समझ आता है कि 10th के बाद 11th में जाते हो बहुत बड़ा जंप, तो बहुत बार नीचे गिरते हैं. दैट्स ओके. आई थिंक बहुत से कम लोगों को ये पता है, पर आई थिंक जो 10th का 11th का डिप पता है, दैट्स नॉर्मल. दैट्स नथिंग न्यू.
Absolutely. Now, what was unique in your academic profile?
No, I think जो honestly actually मैंने admission file अभी तक मेरी पढ़ी नहीं है. You can, fun fact, आप अपनी admission file पढ़ सकते हैं admission committee के through. मैंने अभी तक पढ़ी नहीं है क्योंकि मुझे पढ़ना है, पर for sure. But my main criteria of getting into Georgia Tech was my research project as well as my passion project. So I think I will describe a bit about my passion project. So in passion project, we converted schools to select the unsustainable schools, like unhygienic school, into a net zero schools. So we obtained a funding of $10,000 for that, and like the whole model of being a leader, starting the initiative, then working out the working plans, then contracting contractors, builders, and contracting the school authorities when could we implement those features, and then finally implementing that, I think was the main thing which got me into Georgia Tech. A quick fact about that is that we are saving around 15,000 liters of water every year, plus 13,000 kilowatt of electricity every year, with 50 tons of carbon every year.
And that is happening right now.
And that every year, it happens every year.
And because of your project.
Yes, it's
so,
just.
Important thing to remember is your project doesn't mean that I coded and did something for the company. The impact matters. He's not telling me that I did so and so for the project. He's telling me the impact. He's telling me the result of the project. So you have to focus on the result. You have to be result minded as compared to work minded. जब हम job करते हैं company में या फिर हम internships करते हैं, we don't talk about कि मैंने 10 line of code लिखा. We talk about the result that happened with the 10 lines of code. That's how he's talking. That's a way to talk in future as well. In your day-to-day life.
Impact.
And yeah, impact is very important, whether it's your study abroad profile, whether internships, whether your resume.
The second thing which I want to talk about is my research. So I was very keenly interested into research. So I did a research, like I wrote a research paper with an organization known as Lumiere. Like I want to give you a context, that was a paid program. It's a very expensive program. It was like $2,000 for the program. Except that I was privileged to get into that program. It's a selected program, but it's paid. So you have to pay for that. So even if you don't get it, that's okay. But I started my research journey through that. So I wrote a research paper on seaweeds. जो आपको अगर पता होगा तालाब में जो ग्रीन लेयर होती है वो सीवीड्स होता है.
So weeds, yeah, okay, got it.
हाँ मतलब सीवीड. और उससे मैंने एक स्ट्रैटेजी बनाई थी जिससे आप कार्बन कैसे बचा सकते हो, क्योंकि वो बहुत सारा कार्बन ऑब्जॉर्व करता है. तो अब हाउ कैन यू सेव कार्बन फ्रॉम थ्रू सीवीड्स पे मैंने रिसर्च पेपर लिखा था. एंड द बेस्ट पार्ट वाज आई रोट अ रिसर्च पेपर विद अ हार्वर्ड पीएचडी. सो आई वाज पेयर्ड विद हार्वर्ड पीएचडी. दैट्स हाउ द प्रोग्राम वर्क्स. आई रोट अ रिसर्च पेपर. सो उसके बाद जो मेरा मेन आई थिंक विच स्टैंड आउट वाज आई गॉट अ रिसर्च पोजीशन, अ ग्रेजुएट रिसर्च पोजीशन विद अ ग्रेजुएट प्रोफेसर एट कॉर्नेल. So that's a graduate position, just to be clear. It's not an undergrad position जो लोगों को कभी मिल जाती है. It's a graduate position जो which is very rare.
Oh, but I mean, a normal person like me, if I'm an undergraduate student, I will not even think of applying to a graduate research position. How you thought of applying and getting in? Because people give up, but just by seeing here, I'm not even qualified.
Of course. So to be honest, it's all about cold milling. And आपको बहुत बार लगता होगा कि ये नहीं हो रहा, मुझे कोई जानता नहीं है क्यों रिप्लाई करेगा. But the professors really respect your curiosity and the genuineness which you have. So जब मैं अपना रिसर्च पेपर लिख रहा था उसमें एक aquaculture का स्पेसिफिक पोर्शन था.
So which culture?
Aquaculture, which is basically growing fishes artificially. तो सीवीड्स aquaculture के थ्रू भी ग्रो होते हैं. तो मैंने उनको मेल किया था कि मैंने रिसर्च पेपर लिखा है, मेरा इंटरेस्ट ये है, मुझे aquaculture में बहुत मज़ा आ रहा है, तो मैं आपके रिसर्च पोर्शन करना चाहता हूँ. एंड मैंने ऑफकोर्स एक इसमें बहुत बड़ी टिप जो मैं देना चाहूँगा, ये पोर्शन में मैं थोड़ा एलाबोरेट करना चाहूँगा. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, कोल्ड मिलिंग में यू हैव टू क्रिएट अ टेम्पलेट. इट्स फिजिकली नॉट पॉसिबल टू राइट मेल्स लाइक 50 और 100 प्रोफेसर्स. एंड वन थिंग इज वेरी क्लियर, अगर आप 50 को करोगे तो एटलीस्ट 2 या 3 तो करेंगे. तो ऐसा नहीं कि एक को कर दिया चलो वो रिप्लाई आ ही जाएगा, नहीं. यू अप्लाई टू 50 एंड देन वेट एंड वॉच. दिस 50 या 100 के बाद आपको मिलता ही है रिप्लाई, एक क्या तो मिलता ही है. दैट्स फॉर श्योर. सो इट्स द नंबर्स गेम. एंड द थर्ड थिंग आपको उनके अंदर क्यूरियोसिटी दिखानी पड़ेगी. जैसे अगर मैं अपना मेल दिखाऊँ, तो अगर मेरा मेल पढ़ोगे तो मैंने उसमें स्पेसिफिकली स्पेसिफाई किया था कि मैं आपके ये रिसर्च पेपर में ये पोर्शन में इंटरेस्टेड हूँ. तो आई टुक द इनिशिएटिव ऑफ गोइंग इनटू, जैसे गूगल स्कॉलर में अगर प्रोफेसर का नाम सर्च करोगे तो उनके पेपर्स तो आ ही जाते हैं. तो मैंने वो पेपर पढ़ा और उसमें से कौन सा पोर्शन चाहिए वो देखा. तो दैट मेक्स द प्रोफेसर फील कि आपने सच में रिसर्च किया. आप ऐसे कोई भी इंसान नहीं हो कि जिनको रिसर्च पोजीशन चाहिए. Then I connected with him. I got an interview and he was kind enough to offer me an position. I worked a lot with him. He was a very kind professor, to be honest. He was very flexible in that term. But the whole thing is cold milling, have a template, have research about them and add specific points which you like about them or specific things where you can contribute to them. And the third thing which I feel is that be genuine and be appreciative. Like as I talked with Anu before the interview, he told me that appreciation is a very big quality which people lack. So if you are just like, I really appreciate it, I have this skills, I can contribute this, please give me a position. And it's a numbers game. So keep on applying. It's never the end.
Absolutely. I think every template have 3 steps. Number 1, take interest in the professor. Number 2, appreciate him and be specific about it. And number 3, tell about yourself, that why you want to work there. 3 steps, take interest and tell you about yourself. These 2 things can help you get replies.
Of course.
And now the most important thing, like this was your passion project.
Yes.
So this is something not everyone has, but extracurriculars that everyone needs. So people struggle a lot with the extracurriculars because they want to prove that they are a unique personality. Like you're not like an average Indian student who just want to be an engineer. You have to show that you are a unique personality. How you were able to show with your extracurriculars?
Of course. ठीक है, मैं ये क्वेश्चन का आंसर करके फिर थोड़ा चेंज कर सकते हैं क्योंकि आई थिंक पैशन प्रोजेक्ट नहीं मुझे दिला. आई कैन आंसर दैट इन दैट टर्म्स, बट फिर आई ऑनेस्टली थिंक कि हाँ, देयर इज अ बिग कॉन्सेप्ट जो एक स्टैनफोर्ड के प्रोफेसर ने लिखा था कि इट्स अबाउट ब्रेथ एंड देन डेप्थ. कि आप बहुत सारी एक्टिविटीज़ करो और किसी में भी इतना डीप मत जाओ, बट कमिंग टू जॉर्जिया टेक एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग द होल प्रोसेस एंड गेटिंग एक्सेप्टेड इनटू अदर कॉलेजेस, आई फील इट्स अबाउट द डेप्थ. क्या आप उसमें प्रोजेक्ट्स करो, जैसे आप गिटहब में कोई भी प्रोजेक्ट बना दो या अपनी वेबसाइट में अपलोड करो, यूट्यूब वीडियोज़ बनाओ. अगर व्यूज़ नहीं है तो भी दैट शोज कि आप यू आर पैशनेट अबाउट अ सिंगल सब्जेक्ट एंड गो इन डेप्थ rather than breadth, focus on depth. The first thing is this. The second thing which I want to think for my case, it has to be research, which is balanced by my passion project, because my research was also in the environmental field, plus my passion project was in the environmental field, plus I did an internship in my summer of 11th, in the summer of 12th grade, with a local environmental consultancy firm. So that was also in the environmental field. So if you see, I'm just deepening my curve. I'm doing projects which is just deepening my curve to get accepted at a single field which I wanted to go in.
That completely makes sense because many extracurriculars advice that I have received, they try to tell you कि यार do everything, हर चीज करो.
सही.
But I think that depends on university to university.
Okay.
Georgia Tech is the one who expects depth. Maybe Harvard is the one who expects
Depth.
breadth. Stanford could be the one who wants breadth. Maybe MIT could be the one who wants depth. And I think MIT is famous for depth in your Olympiads.
Olympiads,
So
right.
every university has their own formula. But did you have the same extracurriculars for everyone? It's the same common app profile, right? I believe.
Yeah, it's the same common app through which I applied. I think, but this is also counterbalanced by the essays which I wrote. So essays is also also for essays, there is a very good website known as College Essay Guys. If you guys know, if you're doing the essays, you must know this. Like they have such a good templates and examples. You get to know what the university wants. So through that, I wrote I want to research at a specific lab with a specific professor. So I think the whole process is about selling yourself. So basically application process is so one of my friends from Stanford told me that the application process is it's like Tinder. So if your skill set matches with the university, what university wants, you swipe right, otherwise they swipe left. So मैंने लोगों को देखा है जो जिनको Purdue में नहीं मिला पर Harvard में मिला है, which is like miles apart schools. So it's all about the fit at the end of the day, and it's all about how you sell yourself. कि आप कहीं पे भी जाओ, अगर आपको जॉब में भी जाना है तो आपको अपने आप को सेल करना है, आपकी स्किल सेट. I think selling is a very big thing which everyone should know.
That's a very wonderfully stated example. Even everything in life works like that. When you compete in a project, hackathon, debate, it's not about the best project sometimes. It is about the project that resonates with that personality who is judging it.
Right.
Like they swipe right, oh, I like it. They swipe left, they don't like
They
it.
don't resonate.
So it's all
Correct.
about that connection that you form with the person who is judging it. So it's not always about hard work. It's sometimes about luck as well.
Luck as well, for sure. And I feel one more thing is networking and reaching out. I think a lot of people in India don't know a lot about LinkedIn. Like they are not very active on LinkedIn. You should have a genuine, proper LinkedIn profile and reach out to as many people as you can. Because few of the internships and research positions which I've got is through LinkedIn. I think before coming to college, if you have a LinkedIn, if you're in 10th grade or 11th grade and you start your LinkedIn process, you reach out and you ask advice. I asked a lot of Georgia Tech current students about how can I get accepted, what are the tips and strategies, because they know much more about the application process than you do. So मेरा LinkedIn में नाम है आदित्य वाला 0705. आप मुझे कभी भी मैसेज कर सकते हो. In the same way, आपको all students को करना चाहिए जो आपको जो फील्ड में जाना है, जो कॉलेज में जाना है. It's all about reaching out and being networking, because जो इंडिया में जो होता है आपको सब कुछ हाथ में देगा, वो यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स में बहुत अलग है. You have to ask for everything.
Absolutely. I can give you a quick example. Like he was asking me that how to network and maintain the network. I personally think that like you have to go to places. हर जगह जाने के लिए uniform चाहिए होता है. 3 Idiots dialogue. And in-person networking is 10x better than just online. So go to that event. You just need that uniform, the badge with a friend. Let's say you want to go to a Harvard networking event. You just need to find a friend who goes to Harvard. Go to that networking event, make it possible, and connect with the people, BCG, Bain, all the people you want to work with. But uniform is the
Uniform. That's a very good example. I will remember that forever, right?
Awesome. And now last, as a reminder, he is from CBSE background. And can you believe his CBSE background इतना rigorous होता है? How you find time for like APs, SATs? Can you tell your schedule for SAT preparation? How you were able to make that
Of
possible?
course. So I think SAT अब mandatory होने लगा है. उस time option था, but as we said, Georgia Tech had a mandatory SAT. So there are certain books. SAT is all about you have to first make a study plan. That's the generic advice. Second, let's start with the reading section. So there's a book by Erica Melzer, which is known as Critical Reading Guide. If you read every chapter of that, if you do every exercise, and if you read 2-3 times, like the whole book, and go through every exercise, I think for reading you're sorted for sure. That's advice which I've done after reading like 5 or 10 books. The second thing is the grammar book, which also is a very good book, Erica Melzer, which is grammar. Erica Melzer, just go through the strategies, learn the concepts, do the worksheet, and repeat that. Because in once आपके माइंड में पूरी चीज़ नहीं जाएगी, आपको बार बार करना पड़ेगा. थर्ड, मैथ्स मोस्टली जो इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं, एशियन स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं, उनका मैथ्स अच्छा ही होता है. तो एक बुक है बहुत अच्छी, बहुत कंसाइज, जिसमें सब प्रॉपरली दिया है विद गुड प्रॉब्लम्स, इज कॉलेज पांडा की एक बुक है मैथ 800. जस्ट सॉल्व दैट बुक 2 times and I think you will be 750 plus for sure in math out of 800 हमारे टाइम पे जो.
Wonderful. Now, CBSE board, you think like CBSE board has less chances of getting into Harvard, or you think you had to do something extra to prove that CBSE board is qualifying you to be here?
Definitely, I think it might be a bit controversial, but I think CBSE has a lower chance of getting accepted because CBSE बोर्ड इतने rigorous नहीं. जैसे अगर आप IB देखोगे या A grade देखोगे जो कैम्ब्रिज का होता है, they are very rigorous because आपको 4000 वर्ड्स के एसेज लिखना है, आपको कोड करना है, प्रोजेक्ट करना है. अब यूनिवर्सिटी से पहले कोडिंग करना आपको आता होता है, तो रिग्रेसनेस कम है. पर ऑफ कोर्स दैट बीइंग सेड, आप CBSE बोर्ड को जैसे EPs के साथ, एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर्स, स्ट्रॉन्ग एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर्स के साथ रिसर्च के साथ बैकअप कर सकते हो टू गेट एक्सेप्टेड.
Absolutely. Now, affording a school like Georgia Tech, which has fees almost $40,000 a year, is itself a privilege. Not everyone can do it. So, can you please guide students how can they make it possible? Some students, like I can tell you, I just got to know an international student who got into Florida International University, 100%. They just applied there and got 100% scholarship. There is Georgia State, which give in-state some scholarship. There are many need-aware next genius. There are many ways to scholarship, but Georgia Tech is in a city which gives you the most networking opportunities, which makes this money worth it. Now, so affording that is also worth it in some cases. So how can people afford it? So
Of course, I think majority of the schools in United States में वो scholarship देते ही हैं. जैसे अगर आप top schools देखोगे, Harvard, MIT, Duke, मतलब considerable amount of money आपको देते हैं.
US
Georgia
Tech
Tech,
based, yeah.
USC. But I think Georgia Tech is one of the only few colleges जो international students को scholarship नहीं देते हैं, and I think they should work on that end. But I think my main point of selecting this college is, so I also got accepted into UIUC, which is Urbana-Champaign, which is an equally good college. I also got into Purdue, Boston University, which is the acceptance was 6% this year.
Wow.
And like UIUC, Wisconsin, Madison, and all of that colleges. But I chose Georgia Tech because of the affordability, because compared to other colleges, Georgia Tech is much more affordable. The second thing which I want you guys to keep in mind always is that आप mentally prepared रहना कि आपको at least 1 साल की फीस तो arrange करनी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि it's very difficult to get a RATA in the first 2 semesters because क्योंकि कोई आपको जानता नहीं है. But that being said, RATA positions बहुत easy हो जाती है. आप second year से आपको बहुत सारे ऑन कैंपस जॉब्स मिलते हैं. ऑन कैंपस जॉब्स आप फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर में पक्का ले सकते हो. आई एम ट्राइंग टू गेट एन ऑन कैंपस जॉब दिस टाइम. और इंटर्नशिप जो है, इंटर्नशिप दे पे वेरी वेल. जैसे हनू ने बोला, एटलांटा में कंपनीज बहुत बड़ी है, इंटर्नशिप बहुत अच्छी मिलती है. यू जस्ट हैव टू गो एंड नेटवर्क योरसेल्फ.
And in person, see wherever they're coming, just rush to them.
Rush to them. Right.
Absolutely. Any loan you took, and if you want to share about it.
Of course, yeah. I will be transparent. I took a loan. I am not from a very upper class, like from a rich family background. But yes, I took a loan for more than like around 60% of the tuition fees. But that being said, you have to repay the loan after you graduate, after a year you graduate, which is like 2028 for me. If I graduate by like within 3 years, I will get 2 years. And the salary packages which you get here, you will be very easily able to repay your loan within 3 years if you get into a good company from Georgia Tech. And that's, I have seen a lot of people do that. And taking a loan for education, I think it's normal, should be normalized, and it's a good investment, I think.
Absolutely. Any final piece of advice you would like to give the students?
Yes. So, ये मुझे एक quote, I got a quote from a Cornell professor which I did my internship was, he's like, America is a place where you have to ask for things, and it's all about asking out. If you need help, आप मैसेज करो 100 लोगों को. अगर आपको कोई फाइनेंशियल एड चाहिए, तब कॉलेज को मैसेज कर दो कि मेरे पास अफोर्ड नहीं कर रहा, फाइनेंशियल एड दे दो मुझे. अगर आपको सपोज एसेज में हेल्प करना है, तो आप अपने सीनियर्स को या फिर आप लिंक्डइन पे किसको मैसेज करो कि मुझे एसेज में हेल्प चाहिए, मुझे एसेज में हेल्प कर दो. कोई कंपनी में जाना है तो उनको रीच आउट करो. इट्स ऑल अबाउट आस्किंग आउट. आपको इनिशिएटिव लेना पड़ेगा. कोई इंडिया जैसे आपको टेस्ट में ये आने वाला है वो नहीं बताएगा, आपको खुद ही जाके सब कुछ खुद करना पड़ेगा. एंड इफ़ यू आर द पर्सन जो इनिशिएटिव लेके आस्क कर सकते चीज़ों के लिए, I think it is the land of opportunities abhi bhi, and it will always be the land of opportunity.
Absolutely. Like, in fact, just do the numbers game. If you want to get like 2 people to review your essay, you have to reach out to 100 people. 2%
For sure.
absolutely will reply. I'm pretty sure. And also remember to follow up as well. Don't get harassy. Like let's say that like he messaged me, I didn't reply to him. He followed up after like 24 hours or 48 hours. I replied back, and when I saw, oh no, I missed his email. And don't be like emailing every single day. That is harassment. So after, let's say, if you followed up once after 48 hours, just do one last follow-up after 2-3 months. If they don't reply, just so there's a book called Magnetic Marketing. In that marketing, if you are a salesperson, it says that money is in the follow-up. No one will buy your product in the first email you send. You have to follow up.
Follow up. So it's all about following up, because मैंने भी अभी इंटर्नशिप में अप्लाई किया तो एक बार में वो लोग कभी रिप्लाई नहीं करते. सब लोग बहुत बिजी होते हैं यहाँ पे. We just have to send a follow-up request that I got, like, I just recently got involved into this. Is there any opportunities available right now? It's just about the follow.
Absolutely.
And also one more thing which I wanted to end was like, I want to thank Harnoor, because inspired me to come here. I was like, as you were talking about, like the videos which you make are inspiration to millions, and I am the living example that मैंने आपके video देख के ही apply किया और मैं इधर हूँ. So I think after 2 years coming here, I think you are huge inspiration for me, and thank you so much for inspiring a lot of students from there.
It's an honor. Thank you so much. And I hope this video inspires other students as well, because it's reported around 1.5 million students out of are planning to go abroad next year.
It's increasing. It's increasing.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I hope it helps out, and thank you so much. Thank you so much, Aditya. And please don't forget to check out his channel as well. Give him support as well, because he is also planning to become a content creator. Give some positive words in the comments below, and I hope he has a similar journey ahead as well.